My name is Jason Brink. I am the president of blockchain at Gala, and I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit about what we're all about, and community, and a few other things. But before I do that, the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to say thank you very much to everyone at UDC. You guys have put on an amazing event. I really appreciate being here. And to everyone at Upbit, you guys rock. This is my second time in Busan. I was here about 5 years ago on a stage in this venue. And it was the middle of summer then, and I didn't like it very much. It was really, really hot. Really hot, like spectacularly hot. And I was here for a community event. And the community event basically started off, and that was like my second time in Korea, I think. But because it was a community event, we went for chimek, right? Which is an amazing practice, by the way. Best way to break the ice for business. But the downside of that is that when you're having a community event and you're the one that everyone wants to see, it means that there's like 30 people there, right? So we had some soju, and for every glass of soju I poured 30 glasses. I had to have a glass of soju, so after the end of that, I had 30 glasses of soju, and everyone else had one. And it was a very unpleasant day. That combined with the middle of summer. So basically, long story short, much better start to this trip. So very happy to be here. So basically, let me tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'm going to get into Gala and what we do and why community is so important to us. The first thing that I'd like to tell you guys is that I've been in blockchain for a long time, okay? I'm one of those people who's been in this industry for about 10 years now, which is kind of crazy. In 2014, I won an award from the Global Development Network and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for the creation of a concept that I called the aid dollar. And the entire purpose of the aid dollar was to fix a few of the problems that are endemic to foreign aid. Prior to working in blockchain, I had done some work in the more of a social space, okay? I had spent some time in Haiti post-earthquake, some time in Peru, doing some medical stuff. And in both of these cases, specifically in Haiti, I saw how much money was pouring into the country in aid and how little of it was getting to the people on the street. And so this encouraged me to create this idea. You know, what would happen if we used blockchain, this new transformative technology, to fix some of these problems, to streamline this process and to make everything transparent and clear and accountable? What would that look like, right? Super, super powerful. So I tried to do that. And I found, though, unfortunately, that I was working with governments and NGOs trying to push this along, and found that it was really, really, really difficult. Governments and NGOs, pretty entrenched, and at that point in time, although they're getting better today, very unwilling to pick up new technologies, especially new technologies as strange and scary to most people as blockchain is. And with that, after running into all of that resistance, I almost gave up on the concept until I met Eric, the CEO of Gala. And when I met Eric, we started talking about how we could use something like gaming to perform some of those same tasks, to use gaming as a way to distribute something to people at the absolute lowest rungs of society and to give them something to help them come up. And so this is why I eventually joined Gala. I joined Gala in, I think it was March of 2020, and I was employee number 8. I had been discussing Gala for some time with Eric, but I officially joined as employee number 8. Today, as of right now, we have about 450 employees. We've grown from under 10 to 450 in just a couple years. And this has been a huge, huge surge of growth. But the thing that has enabled this, all of it, is community. So just some benchmark numbers. Right now, we have 28 AAA games in development. 7 of those games are South Korean titles, by the way. All of Tuesday, when did I get here? I think I got here on Tuesday. My travel schedule has been insane. I'll get to that in a minute. But I spent all of Tuesday going and visiting the developers that we're working with in Seoul and seeing the work being done by South Korean developers, both game and blockchain. And it was wonderful to spend time connecting with the developers. We even had a community get-together at one of the developers so that everyone could try and play some of the games that were being created, which was super, super fun. But 28 games in development, and we're also moving very quickly into both film and music. Our mandate is to be a force for good in the world and the leading Web3 company in entertainment across all verticals. This is what we aim to do, and so far, we're doing a pretty good job. We're not all the way there yet, but we're doing a pretty good job. But the thing that makes all of this possible is community. But what does community really mean, right? I think from a Web 2 perspective, okay? And there are a lot of, I'm sure that in this space here today, there are people who represent Web 2 companies who are looking to get into Web 3. And I think that for the average Web 2 company, looking at Web 3 can be profoundly scary. Because Web 3 is weird, it's disorganized, it's tribal almost. And Web 2 companies are very, very scared by that. But they recognize that it's a thing that they need to engage with in order to move forward. Because Web 3, I think everyone here agrees, is the path of the future. So for us, what does engagement with community mean? I can tell you what it means for me, okay? Because it has, it consumes my life almost to an overriding extent. So far this year, I have flown over 130,000 kilometers. I have been around the world like 3.2 times so far this year. And I think that pretty much everyone will agree that that's probably too much traveling. And I'm not quite done yet. I have a few more conferences I gotta go to this year still, but 130,000 kilometers. And everywhere I go, I meet with the community. I usually will tweet about it, I'll talk about it in Discord, and we'll get a group of people together. It'll be at a restaurant, sometimes it's at a pub, sometimes it's at a conference, sometimes we'll take over a random room at a conference. We've hosted events for as many as 600 people from our community and events that are as small as 6 or 7. And engagement directly with this community is one of the things that sets Gala apart from everybody else. It is very, very difficult to find another company working to build something where you can engage as directly with that company as you can with us. And this is one of the things that we're very proud of. We also have an extremely active Discord community, which, by the way, plug, you can join at galagames.chat if you would like. We do have Korean moderators, some of which are hanging out in here somewhere. But our active Discord community is something that we curate and we grow. But what does a community mean for a Web 2 company? How does a Web 2 company move into the Web 3 space? This is a question that I get asked a lot, and I think I've been asked in like 3 interviews this week so far. How does a Web 2 company move into Web 3? And the first part of this, the first answer, is that in order to be a Web 3 company, in order to really be a Web 3 company, you have to get down off of your high horse. You have to engage with people directly, honestly, genuinely, okay? You have to have an open dialogue, because every company that is Web 2 right now, every company that is Web 2 is going to either evolve into a Web 3 company or will eventually be supplanted. And the reason for this is that people are powerful. People are recognizing their own power. People are realizing that they don't have to put up with the same things that they've put up with for a really long time. Let's take gaming, for example, right? When I was young and I would play a game, I'd go over to my buddy's house and I would have in my backpack a cartridge. You know, for the original Nintendo, that one? Yeah, I would have one of those cartridges and I could trade it to my friend. Why could I do that? Because it was mine. It was my cartridge. I owned it, and I could do whatever I wanted with it. But then something happened. Cloud gaming came into play. You had companies like Steam that made it super easy to not actually own anything. You don't have a disk, you don't have anything. All you have is a code that says, yeah, you can download this game if you want, right? That sense of ownership is something that has been lost. And that sense of ownership is something that we at Gala have tried to bring back, both in gaming, but also in music and film. You know, whether it's owning an NFT, whether it's owning a map, whether it's running a server that is, you know, that one of the games plays on. That sense of ownership is central and critical to everything that we do. And that is the key to Web 3, is to create an opportunity for people to own part of their experience, to own their gaming, to own their music, to own all of that. We see that at Gala as being central to our mission. And wrapping around this entire mission is this sense that it's being built by and for a larger community. Like I said, we have 450 people internally, but we have a community of thousands of developers around the world building these games. Hundreds and hundreds of developers here in Korea. And this is something that makes me proud, because when I go to visit people, I go to walk into a studio. If you look at my Twitter, you can see some of the pictures I posted from earlier this week. You know, they're hanging out with designers, hanging out with developers, connecting with them. And then even before that, I was in Paris just Monday. I was in Paris on Monday. I got here on Tuesday. I don't know. My travel schedule, again, insane. But I was there in Paris, meeting with the community. And a week before that, I was in London, meeting with the community. And every single time I go to one of these places, I sit down, I buy people dinner, I buy people drinks, and I talk. And I share with them our vision. But, and this is the thing that most Web 2 companies have a really hard time understanding. For me, it's not just about telling them what our vision is. It's about listening. It's about listening to their vision and finding a way to take their vision and make it part of our vision. Because we do everything together. It doesn't matter whether I have a particularly good idea. if the rest of the community listening doesn't understand it. Now, in game development, which, by the way, just throwing a little thing out there for the rest of the world that may be listening, game development takes a long time. I know in the Web3 space, there are a lot of quote-unquote games, but a real AAA game has a development timeline of at least 24 months, typically closer to 36. And so it's really funny sometimes to talk to the community, and they're like, you announced that there was a game in development 6 months ago. It's not out yet. Scam, rug pull. And that's something that you see in this space a lot. But connecting with the community on this, one of the things that we've started doing is developing games in an entirely different way. So rather than develop a game where the developers sit inside their bullpen and they create a game with zero outside involvement, what we've started doing is introducing game content to the community with a very regular cadence so that people can see updates, they can play tests, okay? And they can feed into those play tests. They can tell us what they liked, what they didn't like, what was cool, what they wish that we would do differently. For us, that's super important because, again, instead of being like a Web 2 company, a Web 3 company connects, engages, and listens. So that when the user base says, yeah, we're not sure about that particular thing, we listen, we change it. Or at the very least, we engage in a dialogue. Our Discord is full of amazing conversations about games, about the specific tactics and the way that the games have been created. We have developer AMAs several times a week with different game teams so that everyone is always up to date on what's happening. Right now, I think we have about 9 games that are in various stages of playtest. Okay, and these are real AAA games. We've got, for example, Superior. Okay, Superior is being made by a game company called Drifter. Drifter, if any of you guys are familiar with Oculus, okay, Drifter was the company that made Robo Recall. These are really, 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 really good guys, and they're making an amazing game, and a new playtest for this game starts on Monday. And anyone in the community can go get a key, can download the game from Epic, and can play it, and join our Discord and tell us what you think. We also have a partnership with Alienware there, so I think you can get a key from Alienware too if you want, if you happen to be on their mailing list. But for us, this is super important, because every time we have an engagement with the community, we learn something. And we learn that the collective wisdom of the group has lessons that it can teach us. It has lessons that we can learn from. It has things that we can integrate. But most importantly, what we learn is what people really want. And in music, this has a huge impact as well, and film, for that matter. When was the last time you as a watcher felt like you could feed into a film? Right now, we have all sorts of projects going, and many of them are being fed into by community members. Both Gala Film and Gala Music, okay, which I think we just announced 8 additional artists for Gala Music just yesterday, or today maybe. Again, time zones, traveling, I don't know which day was the actual announcement. But 8 additional artists. And these are 8 additional artists that are going to be producing music or have produced music that will be released on the Gala platform. And interestingly enough, if you think of these entertainment verticals almost as a community on their own, what you find is that you can have all sorts of different opportunities to integrate music into games, to have games drive the development of video content. All of these things loop together into one beautiful, virtuous ecosystem. And underneath that ecosystem is the broader community of users, all of you. And that includes me too. I'm no different or better than anyone else. I'm just a dude who happens to be here and is a member of the community. And I think that that's an important lesson to take away. This sense of egalitarian development, this creation of something that is truly at its root community-driven. And for all of us at Gala, that's one of our core ethics that we really cling to. And so what I would like to do is I would like to invite all of you to come and join our community, to let us know what you think. I know I've seen so many of you guys here today coming by the booth and saying hi, taking selfies, and which I love it, guys. You guys are all amazing. And I invite those of you who aren't in our community yet to come in and join. You guys are incredible. And I think that you will find within our community that there is a home because it's a big family for everybody. Now, before I wrap up, there's a couple little things that I'd like to say. The first is that I hope those of you who had some pizza yesterday enjoyed it. That's a thing that I tend to do at conferences. I just show up and buy everybody pizza. But we have an interesting thing that happened. We didn't have a TV in our booth. So we went out and bought a very, very large, very nice monitor, which is out there right now in booth number 1. And I don't want to take it home. It won't fit in the overhead compartment. And the flight attendants would be very angry with me. So in front of that, there is a QR code. If you go scan that QR code and just click on the register button after you scan that QR code, I'm going to pull at 3 p.m., or it won't be me, it'll be someone from my team over there. Someone's email is going to be pulled, and we're going to send off an email to a couple people, and then someone can take that monitor home. Because it's a really nice monitor. It's like super, super nice. I would love to take it home, but my wife would kill me. Anyway, but beyond that, guys, I really just want to invite you to come in, join the community, get into the Discord, okay? galagames.chat. Again, we have a large Korean community, some of which are angry at me right now. Because, you know, token prices do token prices things. But join the community, come say hi, look me up on Twitter if you'd like. I'm at BitbenderBrink. I do answer DMs. I get lots of them and respond all the time. And yeah, come in and join, because this is what Web3 is, guys. Together, all of us are Web3. Together, everyone here at Upbit, everyone at UDC, we are defining the future of business. We are defining the future of gaming. We are defining the future of society. And it's way bigger than any one person. It's way bigger than any one company. All of us are doing this together. And with that, I would like to invite you all. Thank you very much from me, Jason, and from everybody at Gala.
Thank you very much, Jason. I have 2 things to say. Number 1, I didn't get the pizza.
What? Why not?
And number two,
We had a whole pile of it.
where
What's
do I
wrong?
sign up for the monitor? Thank you very much, and thank you for such an inspirational presentation. Thank you.
Thank you
Please
very
give him another big round of applause. Thank you.